Tonight, the collective steps into the fire, but not the messy kind where somebody's ego lights up the room and calls it truth. We're talking Agni Dev, the sacred flame, the divine messenger, the cosmic carrier of prayers, who've been delivering offerings before humans started losing receipts in junk drawers. This scroll is about purification, purpose, and learning how to burn clean. Because everybody wants spiritual fire until it starts cooking the lies off their own plate. Agni teaches us that the flame does not just destroy, it reveals, it refines. It carries what is sincere and exposes what was only dressed up in holy perfume and bad intentions. The collective is learning tonight that your fire is not too much. It just needs direction, discipline, and a soul brave enough to stop feeding it old pain like leftovers from a cursed family reunion. Gather close. Tonight, we do not enter the temple through water. We enter through flame. Not every fire comes to punish. Some fire comes to translate. Some fire comes to take your prayer from your trembling mouth and lift it into the unseen realms like smoke with a mission. Some fire comes to burn the fake gold off a situation, so the real treasure can finally stop hiding under somebody else's dust. That is the mystery of Agni Dev. He is not just a flame. He is the messenger between worlds, the mouth of the sacred offering, the heat inside courage, the spark behind transformation, the divine witness that does not blink when truth walks in barefoot. And baby, when Agni steps into the room, lies start sweating immediately. No debate, no podcast interview, no spiritual tap dance in rented enlightenment shoes, just flame. Tonight, the collective learns that the sacred fire does not come to make us smaller. It comes to make us honest. It burns the mask, not the soul. It burns confusion, not destiny. It burns the old cage so the spirit can stop calling captivity comfort. So if your life has been heating up, do not assume you are being destroyed. You may be getting purified, because Agni does not waste flame on what has no purpose. If the fire found you, beloved, it might be because heaven knows there is gold in there. Now let the smoke rise, let the false crackle, let the real remain.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Scroll 1, Agni Dev, the fire that delivers the message. Beloved collective, tonight we're stepping into the flame, not the little candle you light when the Wi-Fi act possessed. Not the let me sage this room because somebody came in here with raccoon energy flame. No. We're talking about Agni Dev, pronounced Agni Dev, the ancient fire, the divine carrier, the priest of the ritual, the mouth of the gods, the cosmic delivery man who never needed a tracking number because the smoke already knew the address. And yes, we chose Agni because in our no-repeat temple ledger, we've danced with plenty of the famous ones already. So tonight, the flame steps forward like, move over. I've been carrying messages since before your ancestors learned how to over-explain a family curse at Thanksgiving. Agni is one of the great Vedic deities, deeply tied to fire in the sun, lightning, hearth, and sacrifice. In Vedic thought, he is the carrier of offerings and a messenger between the earthly and divine realms. Humanity really did invent customer service, and then realize fire had been doing the job better. Tragic. The scroll, now. Listen close, collective. Agni is not just fire, like a thing you fear when the stove gets disrespectful. Agni is living transformation. He is the flame that takes what is raw and makes it changed. Wood becomes ash. Food becomes nourishment. Prayer becomes smoke. Pain becomes wisdom. Unless you ignore the lesson, then pain becomes a subscription plan. And some folks got the yearly package, don't they? Agni stands at the doorway between worlds. In the Vedic ritual, offerings placed into the sacred fire are not treated like random smoke drifting nowhere. They are carried, delivered, translated. Fire becomes the divine post office. The altar becomes the portal, and Agni is standing there with sacred authority like, I'll take that upstairs. The Rig Veda's opening hymn invokes Agni as priest of the sacrifice, divine minister, and bringer of the gods. First hymn, first flame. That is not background character behavior. That is main title energy. And this is where it gets deep. Agni teaches that nothing sincere is wasted. A real prayer does not disappear. A real offering does not vanish. A real tear shed from the soul does not hit the ground and become nothing. Agni says, put it in the fire. Not because fire destroys everything, because fire reveals what everything truly is. Gold goes into fire and comes out cleaner. Fake gold goes into fire and starts telling on itself like a cousin under pressure. That is why the flame is feared by liars. Fire does not debate. Fire does not argue in comment sections. Fire does not write a 12-paragraph explanation to somebody committed to misunderstanding the assignment. Fire simply tests, and Agni, beloved, is the sacred test. He is the heat in discipline, the spark in courage, the hunger in the healer, the warning in intuition, the spiritual smoke detector that starts screaming when somebody walks in smiling, but their spirit smells like old elevator water and unpaid karma. Agni has two faces in traditional description, one benevolent and one fierce. That matters, because fire can cook your meal or burn your house down. Same element, different handling, same power, different relationship. That's the lesson. Power is not evil. Misuse is the problem. The same mouth that blesses can curse. The same passion that builds can destroy. The same fire that protects the home can become the wildfire of ego. So Agni asks the collective, what are you feeding your fire? Because fire eats. That anger you keep reheating, it eats. That jealousy somebody sent toward you, it eats them first. Don't worry. That purpose burning inside you, feed it discipline, not drama. That gift you keep hiding because your family acted allergic to your greatness, feed it courage. Agni is not here for lukewarm living. He is not here for maybe one day. He is not here for I'll start after everyone understands me. Baby, some people could watch the sun rise every morning and still ask who turned the lights on. Stop waiting for permission from the spiritually cross-eyed. Agni says, burn clean anyway. And here's the slick part. Agni is a messenger, but he is also a witness. In many sacred fires, vows are made before flame. Marriages, offerings, initiations, promises. Why? Because fire watches without blinking. You can fool people with perfume, posture, and a nice little peace and blessings voice while your intentions are doing push-ups in the basement. But flame sees movement. Flame sees truth. Flame sees what tries to hide behind pretty language. That is why Agni belongs in this season for the collective, because many are being called to purify the message before they deliver it, not water it down, not decorate it with fog machine spirituality, not turn truth into a TED Talk wearing crystal beads. Purify it. Say what is real. Say what heals. Say what breaks chains without becoming the chain yourself. Because Agni does not just burn enemies. Agni burns confusion. He burns false offerings. He burns fake devotion. He burns spiritual performance. He burns the part of us that wants divine power but refuses divine responsibility. And listen, that's where folks get quiet. Real quiet. Church mouse and witness protection quiet. Because everybody wants the flame until the flame says, wonderful, we're starting with your ego. The deeper mystery, Agni also represents the inner fire. That is not a cute metaphor. That is the engine, the fire in the belly, the heat behind the eyes, the spark that says, I am not done. The sacred irritation that refuses to let your soul rot in comfort. This is why some of the collective cannot stay asleep anymore. Old life feels too small. Old conversations taste stale. Old fear does not fit right. Old masks feel itchy. That's Agni. When the inner fire wakes, you cannot keep living like cold ashes. You start noticing who drains your flame and who protects it. You start noticing who only shows up when your light is useful. You start noticing who claps when you're quiet but gets nervous when you shine. Agni says, noted. And then he raises the temperature. Not to punish you, to refine you. Because some blessings cannot survive in an unpurified vessel. Some gifts need a stronger container. Some voices need fire before they can carry truth without turning bitter. The collective is not being burned down. The collective is being forged. Big difference. One is destruction, the other is destiny, getting a backbone. Receipts? Rig Veda, Mandala 1, Hymn 1, Agni opens the Rig Veda as the priestly flame connected to sacrifice, divine order, and bringing the gods near. First seat at the table, because apparently ancient wisdom had better priorities than modern inbox management. Encyclopedia Britannica, Agni is described as the Hindu fire god, tied to sun, lightning, hearth, and sacrificial fire, and known as the carrier of offerings and messenger between earthly and divine orders. Encyclopedia.com religious reference. Agni is central to Vedic sacrifice, acting as mediator so offerings pass through sacred fire to reach their divine destination. Sacred logistics, baby. UPS could never. Core lesson. Agni teaches the collective this. Your fire is not the problem. Your lack of direction is. Do not dim your flame just because somebody else built their whole personality out of damp matches. Fire with wisdom becomes warmth. Fire with discipline becomes power. Fire with truth becomes purification. Fire with ego becomes a public safety issue and probably a group chat disaster. So burn clean, speak clean, move clean, and when the old version of you starts smoking at the edges, do not panic. That might not be punishment. That might be Agni saying, "Beloved, the ashes are not your ending. They are proof the old cage finally caught fire." Wisdom of legacy. May the collective remember, a sacred flame does not beg darkness for approval. A true offering does not need applause to reach heaven. A purified voice does not scream to be powerful, and a soul on fire with purpose cannot be buried by cold people. Let Agni carry the message. Let the smoke rise. Let the false burn off. Let the real remain. Because when the flame is honest, beloved, even the unseen realms lean in and listen. Let's bring the receipts to the altar before somebody says, "But where did the fire part come from?" Baby, the flame been documented. Agni did not just pop up from a candle aisle at Target, wearing beads and calling himself ancient. This one has Vedic paperwork. Receipt 1. Agni opens the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda begins with Agni. That is major. First hymn, first name, first flame. The opening hymn calls Agni the priest of the sacrifice, the divine minister, and the one who brings blessings through the ritual. Ancient India basically said, before we talk to anybody else, get the fire on the line. Sensible. Finally, humanity made one organized decision. Agni is not just fire outside you. Agni is the first spark of spiritual contact. Before the gods arrive, before wisdom lands, before the blessing manifests, there must be ignition. No flame, no message. No heat, no transformation. No inner fire, no real initiation. That's why some people pray cold and wonder why nothing moves. Beloved, even heaven likes a little seasoning. Receipt 2. Agni is the messenger between worlds. Agni is described as the mouth of the gods, the carrier of offerings, and the messenger between the human and divine realms. In Vedic ritual, offerings placed into sacred fire are carried through Agni to the gods. That means Agni is not just fire. He is sacred translation. Fire changes the language of matter. Grain becomes smoke, wood becomes ash, butter becomes flame, prayer becomes movement. That is the hidden teaching. What you offer sincerely does not disappear. It changes form. Some folks think their tears, discipline, patience, and private battles were wasted. Agni says, no, beloved, I process that. Delivery pending. Divine logistics, no tracking number, no customer support, just smoke and mystery. Naturally, humans panic because they can't refresh the page. Receipt 3. Agni has two faces. Agni is traditionally described with two faces, one beneficent and one fierce. Fire can warm the home or burn the house down. Same element, different handling. Your power is not the problem. Your relationship to your power is. Anger can become protection. Passion can become creation. Truth can become medicine. But ego can turn all three into a spiritual grease fire. Agni teaches the collective. Do not fear your flame. Train it. Because untrained fire starts arguments, burns bridges, and then says, I'm just passionate. No, beloved, you are emotionally flambeing the village. Put the sacred oven mitts on. Receipt 4. Agni is domestic, cosmic, and ritual fire. Agni is connected to the hearth, the sacrificial flame, lightning, and the sun. That means he is not trapped in one altar bowl. He is fire in the home, fire in the sky, fire in the storm, fire in the sacred act. The divine flame lives on many levels. There is fire in the body, fire in the belly, fire in the voice, fire in the warning sign, fire in the courage to leave what keeps trying to bury you politely. Agni says, do not only look for the temple flame, check the flame inside your own chest. Some of the collective has been calling it anxiety, irritation, restlessness, or I just don't fit here anymore. Sometimes that is not chaos. Sometimes that is inner Agni saying, this old life is too small, pack light. Beloved collective, Agni reminds us that purification is not always pretty. Sometimes it looks like losing people you thought were permanent. Sometimes it looks like your plan's catching fire, so your purpose can stop suffocating under them. Sometimes it looks like being exposed to yourself first, which is deeply rude, but spiritually efficient. Because fire does not only expose enemies. Fire exposes the excuses we kept feeding like emotional raccoons. Agni's compassion is not soft like a pillow. It is soft like a forge, saying, I am heating you because there is a blade in you. Not a blade for cruelty. A blade for clarity. A blade for cutting cords. A blade for opening the path when life keeps acting like it misplaced the door. So when life gets hot, do not automatically assume you are cursed. Sometimes you are being refined. Sometimes the false is being burned off. Sometimes heaven is not attacking you. It is removing the spiritual mildew. And baby, some of that mildew had a whole personality, a podcast voice, and a fake, humble smile. Tragic little fungus. Hilarious wise joke for the scroll. Agni walked into the room and the lies started sweating. One lie said, I'm misunderstood. Agni said, no, you're well done. Another lie said, I'm just protecting my peace. Agni said, beloved, you're protecting your mess. Then ego walked in with sunglasses on, talking about, I'm chosen. Agni looked at the collective and said, chosen for what, baby? A spiritual barbecue? Because the sacred fire does not care how loud you chant if your offering is fake. The flame said, bring me truth, not performance. Bring me healing, not theatrics. Bring me courage, not excuses dressed in incense. And the collective said, who? The altar got hands tonight.
Universal Currency Receipt, Architect Musician 3611027, The Graceful Whisperer, Devalan Ahll.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community, you've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
Agni Dev does not come to entertain the spirit. Agni comes to refine it. He is not the little decorative candle people light while avoiding accountability in designer pajamas. No, beloved. Agni is the sacred flame that looks at the soul and says, let's see what you're really made of. And that is the blessing. Because everything real in you can survive the heat. Your love can survive, your wisdom can survive, your calling can survive, your truth can survive, your sacred madness, the good kind, the kind that refuses to bow to dead systems and dusty fear, can survive too. But the false, the fake peace, the people-pleasing, the old shame, the little survival mask you wore so others could stay comfortable? Baby, Agni is cooking that off the bone. And yes, it may sting. Yes, it may feel like your whole life is catching fire. But sometimes the flame is not burning down your future. Sometimes it is burning the chains off your ankles. That is the legacy of Agni. A sacred fire does not hate the wood. It releases what was hidden inside it. A sacred fire does not shame the gold. It pulls the impurities from it. A sacred fire does not punish the offering. It carries it higher. So when your path gets hot, do not fold like a lawn chair at a family reunion. Stand still long enough to learn what the flame is teaching. Some people were never meant to walk with you past the smoke. Some habits were never meant to survive your awakening. Some fears only looked powerful because you kept feeding them breakfast. Agni says, no more. No more cold prayers from a burning soul. No more dimming your light for spirits that love the dark. No more handing your fire to people who only know how to misuse warmth. Protect your flame. Train your flame. Honor your flame. Let it warm the worthy. Let it guide the lost. Let it expose the false. Let it forge the future. And when the old world asks why you do not burn the same anymore, tell them, I learned the difference between being consumed and being consecrated. Because that is the wisdom, collective. You are not here to be smoke. You are here to be signal. You are not here to be ashes. You are here to rise from them with your name still glowing. And if Agni has found you in this season, take heart, beloved. The fire did not come because you were finished. The fire came because something ancient inside you was finally ready to shine. So let the flame speak. Let the truth stand. Let the prayer rise. And may the collective remember forever. What is false will burn loud. What is real will burn bright. And what is chosen by the sacred fire will never need permission from the dark.
Until next time, your Sea Star Curacy, channeled by 361-1027, the Beautiful Whisperer. Our Sea Star Devalan Seal. Apply the news you can use.